Joining us now is Ben Jackson of Ben's General Contractors in Freeport. And Mr. Jackson, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
We saw what the governor said. How many people are signed up to have their homes raised?
There's 6,500. With me and my company,
you personally,
we have about 30 homes that are signed up now.
Okay, and you said some were waiting also?
A lot of them are waiting, yes.
Okay, and how many have actually gotten their home elevated?
Through the program, one home.
1 out of 30?
Yeah.
That's not a great number.
Yeah. Well, I believe that's out of the whole program, there's only one.
Okay, so it seems that one of the issues is that the people who are getting their homes raised have to raise, they get $100,000, but that doesn't cover the whole cost, right?
Yeah, that's correct. What they're doing is they put out a number without it being engineered or anything else to get the process moving, which is a good thing. The problem is it kind of stalled there. You have to get through the scope of work form, a 6100 form, which is where the architect details out how high it has to go, how it's engineered, what you need to support it as far as pilings. Once that's all detailed out, they come back with a different number, which is typically going to be higher.
A different estimate, you mean?
A different estimate from New York Rising, and the award amount will change.
Okay, but there's another little point here, is that it appears that you don't get all the money to cover the whole cost up front, correct?
That's correct.
How much of the money do you get?
They give the homeowner 50%, and the homeowner has to dole it out. And you get the final 50%.
You mean, wait a minute, they give the homeowner 50%?
Yes.
And then what?
The homeowner doles it out. The homeowner decides how they're going to pay and what arrangements they make.
Pay it.
Correct.
And then what about the other half?
The other half's done at substantial completion, which was originally at the certificate of occupancy, but now I believe it's going to be just a form that's filled out that everything's been finished.
But how do you finish the house if you don't have the money to finish the house?
Well, you don't. As a contractor, nobody can go on the arm for 50%. And you're not going to get contractors to do it. There are some programs out there where they have some bridge loans. This is something I've discussed with the people in the program. They are looking at it. They do realize that this can be difficult. But right now, a lot of people are kind of stalled with that.
And isn't this, I know the government's theory, at least I've heard some of the government's theory, is, sometimes people take advantage of a lot of money being thrown at them. Is that why they tend to be a little careful in laying out the money ahead of time?
Absolutely. I think that's a big part of it. But I think the other thing, too, is it would be a big burden on the New York Rising program to administer all these funds. I just think things should be done a little differently. In the construction industry, a retainage of 10% is a standard thing. A retainage of 50% is unheard of.
Retainage meaning what? What is the average percent?
What's held to the end of the project? What's held until everything is complete, every I dotted, every paint scuff fixed up. 10% is a fair amount to hold. 50% is absurd. Nobody, contractors just can't do it. And what we're telling homeowners is, you need to find the money. What New York Rising gives you is not my issue. As much as I'd like to be, I want to help whoever I can, but I just don't have the backing to wait on 50%.
So what happens to these homeowners?
The few that we've done are getting their own funding. They're doing it out of pocket. They're getting bridge loans. They're working on things like this.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of the process, how long does it take if I said to you, okay, I've got the money, how long would it take?
The building departments have been great. They're issuing permits right away, provided you have everything you need relatively quickly. Right now, there's not a lot going on, so a lot of things can happen really quick.
And in terms of the way Long Island is going to look, I mean, so many homes are in the floodplain. I think the governor said in the area of 6,500, at least those who were damaged. And you say to yourself, is this the look of the future on the South Shore?
Well, in my opinion, it is. I mean, as a community, as a society, we can't continually fund these disasters. So we need to do something to improve it. And I love the attitude from the governor's office that, hey, let's get in there, let's change this and make it for the better. I think that's a great idea. We're also looking at alternatives to raising houses, possibly abandoning the lower levels that are in the floodplain. But this is something that's going to take time that I have been working with New York.
Abandoning the lower level of the house? What does that mean? You just have a little, you have a pool in the basement? How does that work?
Well, you have to have all flood-resistant materials it needs to be built of. It has to have flood vents so the water can come in and out. The grade on the inside has to be at or above the level on the outside. So there are things that can be done to accomplish this.
What do you say to a person who says, hey, maybe the idea about building near the water might be a bad idea?
No, I love the water.
Yeah, I know you do, because you're going to build it, right?
Listen, I live on the water. If I didn't live on the water, I wouldn't be here. I'd move to Ohio.
Well, we're glad you're here today, Ben. I don't think none of us want to move to Ohio, not just yet. Ben Jackson, great job. We appreciate you coming in, and we wish all those homeowners well.
Yes,
we certainly do.